Okay, here's a tricky one, website number 5. Looking for brighter days, therapy can help. Providing therapy for the whole family, children, adolescents, and adults. Specializing in a list of things. So the audience could be seen as, children, adolescents, and adults. Okay, that's quite a... If I were an adult with no children, this wouldn't interest me. If I were an adult with just young children or something and I had a specific problem with my young child, most likely this site is going to feel a little overwhelming because this person's talking about grief, loss, trauma, depression, anxiety, relationship, on and on and on, everything under the sun, and I'm going to get very distracted by anything on that page that doesn't apply to me. So this is actually not a very well-defined niche. In some cases, I do want to say that I don't know whose site this is, but if you're in a very small town with no other competition, then you're going to have to go this way. You want to hold up a larger umbrella for people to come and see you because you're one of very few therapists. But if you're in a town that's, mid-sized to large and there's a lot of competition, you're just not going to get much work this way. Okay, finally, the last website we'll look at. Rediscover your love. Are you stuck in a frustrating relationship that is going nowhere? Have you lost hope because your relationship hasn't turned out anywhere close to what you have always dreamt about? Tired of living a disconnected and separate life from your partner? I would venture to say that this is also a well-defined niche. The audience is obviously someone in a relationship. The problem is obviously someone who's frustrated with that relationship. They feel that it hasn't really turned out to what they expected. And the solution is rediscover your love. That, the promise is that this therapist will help you do what you need to do to rediscover your love, put some life back in the relationship. So again, another well-defined niche. Hopefully those 6 website examples gave you a good feel for how it is that you communicate the 3 components of a niche. Remember that you must have your audience, their problem, and your solution immediately evident, and this is what comprises a well-defined niche. Okay, before I leave you, I want to give you a peek at what's to come in Lesson 3 and beyond. Lesson 3 is all about you owning the answer to the question, what do you bring to the table? Most therapists I've worked with are reluctant to really own their own skills, knowledge, and experience. Many people feel, well, there's always someone who knows more than me. I'm not really an expert. This trap of discrediting ourselves is really what keeps us from choosing a niche and boldly going forward. And it's really going to get in the way of being successful in private practice. So Lesson 3 will help you figure out what it is you bring to the table and help you claim your assets. In Lesson 4, we're going to work on getting a real clear picture of your passions in order to become an expert in your practice and not just a so-so therapist. You need to become very knowledgeable about your problem area. You also need to remain energized so that you can continue going, and you need to be able to market it passionately. In Lesson 5, we're going to take all of this discovery that you've done about your assets, what you bring to the table, and about your passions, and we're going to narrow that all down into 2 to 3 niche options. I'll give you several examples of how to go through defining a niche with a real clear audience, problem, and solution. And finally, we'll get to Lesson 6. Lesson 6 is where it all comes together. We'll take the 2 to 3 niches that you have defined as options for yourself, and we'll do some market research on them. I'll take you through several examples of market research and assessing demand for a certain market, and then I'll also help you understand how it is that you assess your local competition. Most therapists are easily intimidated by others working in the same space as they are. So I'll take you through several examples where we'll actually look at some therapist websites together and determine whether or not that therapist would be competition for someone else in that niche. This way, you'll be able to be confident about proceeding with your own niche. If you've watched this video, you most likely have already seen video number 1, which is lesson 1 of the Clarify Your Private Practice Niche course. If not, you can find that lesson also on the following page. To get lesson 3 of this video, go to newgenerationpractices.com/niche23.html. That's newgenerationpractices.com/niche23.html. Thanks a lot for listening, and take care.